today is about okay. The program today is about Western medicine, as you must have seen the announcement from Saleh. So what's happening here in America is a lot of doctors are going through stress, and unfortunately, they experience this stress right from the very time they enter college because it's so competitive, just like in India too. And they have to work so many hours. Sometimes they work 24, 36 hours at a stretch. So there's a lot of tension. And that tension, then when they graduate, they pass that tension on to their students. So there's a lot of trauma. And there are so many different professions. You can be a doctor, a lawyer, engineer, architect. Of all these professions, they find the medical profession, there's the highest number of suicides. And you wonder why. These are doctors. They cure other people. They should be able to, handle themselves or go to a psychiatrist, go to a counselor. But there's so much tension. It doesn't mean all the doctors are dying, but the rate of suicide is higher in that profession than in any other profession. So you have to wonder, why is that happening? Do they have access? Of course, maybe they have access to pills, but all the other professions have access to pills and drugs. But it's higher there because the tension is so much. And they feel they really cannot bring health. There's so much. America is the richest country in the world, but the highest diseases. It's not like cholera and all these ordinary diseases. It's internal lifestyle diseases. So we'll talk about that, and I got a short clip to show you about that. So let's take a minute and look at that. Before that, let's do a little warm up. So let's do some sound healing, okay? So we'll do some sound for about 2 to 5 minutes, and then we'll look at these videos. So to do that, I'll have to show you the bowls here, so you can look at them. These are the bowls, and this is my crystal bowl here. It's very good for this type of rimming. So we'll do some sound healing. So if you want to just relax, just take a deep breath, and let's put ourselves into a peaceful situation. And hopefully you can hear the sound. So we'll do a 2 minutes or maybe 5 minutes initial warm up. So if you take a deep breath, sit or lie down, any relaxing position. Think of some happy thoughts that you can have. Either think of your loved ones, your child, or your mother. That's usually a very comforting situation to think about. Take a deep breath inside and a slow outside out breath. Usually count of 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And usually make it a little longer for the out breath if you can. So we'll start with this sound. Feel the vibrations going through your body. They go through the ears to the auditory nerve, but they go through receptors in our whole skin. And now the crystal bowl. last sense to leave that we lose when we leave our bodies. So sound plays a very important part in our life. Just forget all your other worries, the weather, the landlord, the grocery store, and just focus on your breath. There's some part of your body that's bothering you. Imagine this waves going to that body, to the lungs or the liver or whatever, and bringing healing and balance. Okay, if you gradually open your eyes, and let's pay attention to one or two videos that I have, and we'll talk about Indian medicine and Western medicine. So in Western medicine, there's a lot of dissatisfaction. It's very good though. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It works in emergencies. You have an emergency, you broke your leg, you go to the emergency, they'll fix it. You have some problem with your heart, they give you open heart surgery, they fix it. But they don't really help with preventive medicines. How do you prevent something from happening in the first place? There's things like cancer, asthma, these things they don't know how to do. Indian medicine, Eastern medicine, like Ayurveda, or if you go to Tamil Nadu, they have a thing called Siddha medicine. They are very good because they help you to prevent this thing in the first place. And what I'm doing here is one of many different forms of medicine called alternative medicine. So you avoid the problem in the first place by doing these things, a lifestyle, trying to be happy, trying to sing, trying to listen to music or sing music yourself, bring music into your body, bring peace into your body. That will prevent the disease from happening in the first place. And that is called complementary or alternative medicine. So let's look at a little video. I've got two small clips. Let's look at them. One of them, they had a seminar on trauma and Western medicine, Eastern medicine recently here in America. And they had about 50 speakers. I've got one session with 4 people and 1 person interviewing. So we'll listen to 2 of those 4. One is an Indian doctor. Her mother was practicing Ayurveda in India. She is now a doctor here, and she talks about trauma and how much tension doctors are having and those that tension they transfer to the patients. So let's look at that for a minute.
This is medical training. You're an MD, you're also a woman of color. Um, what was medical education like for you? And how did you come to realize the larger connections that we're all addressing here between individual illness and broader relationships and social conditions?
Yes, well, I came to medicine as an artist, as a musician, so I was always very sensitive, and it didn't take long to figure out how traumatizing the medical system was as a medical student. But even before that, just interacting with the medical establishment as a patient myself and seeing how unwhole I felt compared to the Ayurvedic traditions that my grandmother, who was a healer in India, used, and other traditions around the world. Um, and to go back to what Pamela and Jeff were both saying about, the mind-body dualism of the Cartesian dualism that is so much a part of Western thought, infects every aspect of our understanding of health and who we are, the self and other, the colonized and the colonizers. And these systems of thought were brought about in a time where medical education was being formalized and Europe was conquering and enslaving and extracting resources from around the world. So this process of stitching these things back together that had been brutally severed for the purpose of colonial conquest and establishing capitalist systems of which we are all traumatized by participating in a health system that is specifically capitalist. Not that that's the only traumatizing health system you could be in, but it is highly traumatizing for the practitioners. That those thought patterns were established at that time, 600 years ago. And so to understand why we are facing the levels of burnout that we are facing as physicians, we have to understand how our profession has been complicit with the medics, the missionaries, and the military going together around the world to establish these systems of domination, and that the institutions of our medicine are part of those systems of domination. And any system of domination is going to be inherently traumatizing, not only to the people who are being dominated or invisibilized, whether they're people of color or even our patients, but also to the practitioners who have to enact who have to sever their concern for other humans and other beings in order to participate in that system. And so that's, to me, I see the whole architecture is built on a logic of domination and therefore is inherently traumatizing. So for myself, it was my music that really connected me to keep myself outside of the system as I was going through.
Comfort zone.
Right.
So, and I thought that your research about how and why people spontaneously overcome terminal diagnoses has a lot to say about why people get sick in the first place. And
It
so,
really does. And that's, yeah.
so tell us what you learned there.
Well, and it so parallels your work, Gabor. I quote you all the time for one of the most important findings that I learned from these people after studying them for 18 years. The most important thing that people say when they express gratitude for the illness that they had is that it took an illness for them to wake up and realize that they needed to start taking care of themselves and stop just taking care of everyone else, or just stop responding to the perceived expectations of others. And one of the things that you say that resonates at such a deep level for people, especially when they sit and really let themselves absorb it, is if you don't know how to say no, your body will eventually say no for you. And that is such a profound understanding of how this works for people. 85 to 90% of the illnesses that people suffer from are lifestyle related, whether it's heart disease, diabetes, autoimmune illness, cardiac disease, but we treat them as if they're incurable every day. And in mental illnesses that our patients have, we will see a dramatic change in trajectory for these illnesses. And that's why we need to study how people heal. We don't do that. We were taught as physicians to make a diagnosis and start a medication. And at least what I was taught, we don't even study how people heal, which is crazy. So we need to open a new era in medicine.
So what I want to ask,
All of these things need to be reintegrated, and they have been purposefully deconstructed for nefarious purposes. But we're at a point in history where the earth is suffering and humans are suffering, our society.
So what these two people, Rupa is the girl on the left, her grandmother was an Ayurvedic doctor. And what she's saying is for her, she used music to bring healing to herself and also to her patients. And the other guy, Jeff Redinger, he wrote a book on healing. And he says some people, they were given like 1 month to live and they changed their lifestyle. They didn't take any medication and they're still alive. No operations, no nothing. So just changing your lifestyle, whether it's your relationship with somebody else, whether you're doing too much work, whether you're too tense, relax, and then your lifestyle changes. That's what he was talking about. 95% of all our illnesses are because of the way we behave, what our relationship is with our family, with our friends. And what you were saying, if you don't say no to these things, the body will shut down and say no. So let's look at another part of the same video. 1 second, part 2 here.
Causes.
in the sense of working with medical problems, you work with psychiatric issues, but when people come to you, but often, I mean, imagine you must see people with physical problems, which also has a psychological component. Having learned what you've learned from these people that you've investigated so thoroughly, how does that change your approach to people?
Massively. I was also, I should say, for 14 years, I was the chief at an urban medical center, and I was seeing medical patients. And so at the same time I was doing all this research, I was also seeing psychiatric patients during the day and then medical patients at night. And you start to realize, oh, this is the same thing. The way a person feels about themselves, subconsciously or consciously at a deep level about themselves and the nature of the universe we live in, has a massive amount to do with what shows up in their bodies and how they feel. And so when you sit down and ask a person, do you have stress? And they just start to just tell you, often in a cathartic way, about what's going on. And you start to realize that as a physician, we're taught to actually not pay attention to the story and to eliminate the story, because we are taught to get through to the underlying signs and symptoms of illness that are present in anyone with that particular diagnosis. And so we eliminate the story, and yet the story holds the key to what's really going on. Health is social, well-being is social. And so whether it's working with psychiatric patients or medical patients, there is so much similarity, and we're
Thank you. Rupa, so coming back to you again and the larger picture, your book is titled Inflame, but the subtitles are always the most meaningful part of a title often. And your subtitle is Deep Medicine and the Anatomy of Injustice. You've already alluded to some of that, but when you look at a country like the United States, and America is kind of interesting because it sets the standard for the world, so that conditions that burgeon in the United States, we can pretty much know are going to burgeon elsewhere under the impact of globalization, centered around the American model. So if you look at the United States, the wealthiest country in the world, and we don't have to go into the economics of it, it's got more chronic disease than almost anywhere in the world. Like something like 60-70% of the population, the adult population, has got at least one chronic diagnosis. And a significant percentage of people, something like 50%, are at least on one medication or another, which is incredible.
Yeah.
So can you set the social picture for that? It can't be an accident, can it? You know?
No, this is, I mean, the outcome of this sickness we're seeing is the outcome of how our world has been structured through colonial capitalism and all that that implies, all that is carried with it, all the stories, all the ways of relating that are toxic that come through those systems, whether it's patriarchy or white supremacy or so many of the isms that we can look at how they structure our bodies and health. And what we talk about in the book with Deep Medicine is really taking a page from deep ecology. So deep ecology is the understanding that ecosystems can be vibrant and in balance and serving of themselves without being centered around human beings. It's a perspective of ecology that is followed by indigenous people around the world, that we are a part of a system. We're not the main actors or the center of a system. And deep medicine is the understanding that health can no longer be pursued as an individual, on an individual level alone, that we have to start looking at health as an emergent phenomenon of systems interacting with other systems, whether that is social systems, ecological systems, our microbiota, our neural networks, that we, even the anatomy that we're told is coming from a rigid Enlightenment era fallacy that was used to subjugate the world and other people. So if we need to evolve our understanding as healers in medicine, we have to abandon those thought patterns and really see health as an emergent phenomenon of these systems working well together causes.
In the sense of working with medical psychiatric issues, but people come to you. But often, I mean, I mentioned you must see people with physical problems. Would you also, as a psychological?
Okay, so we are back. So bottom line of what both of those people were talking about is this Western medicine that's practiced, unfortunately, all over the world. It started with the British, the French, with the colonies. They came to America, and now health is a drug system. The drug companies, the doctors, the insurance companies, they are all combined. They're not bad people. They're doing the best they can. But in India, we didn't have drug companies. We didn't have insurance years ago. We had a health system, and everyone was connected with nature. We are connected with everybody else. Yes, we had sicknesses, but they were treated like a natural thing. So we have lost. That's what these two doctors were saying. We have lost our connection with each other. We have lost our connection with the spirit or with a god or whatever you want to call that. We've lost our connection with nature. So the way to solve it is not just take medicines, because unfortunately that has not worked. Here in America, 70% of people are taking medicines and they're not healthy. They're still sick. 50% of the people are taking one or more drugs, just pills, 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 and not healthy at all. So for us, we've got to look deep down inside and try to be peaceful, have good relationship with our family, with our friends, with our neighbors. That will promote better health than just taking pills. Pills are okay if it's an emergency, but our relationship, our lifestyle, how we deal with our people, do we go for a walk? Do we get exercise? Do we practice yoga? Do we sing and just bring peaceful thoughts in our body? Those things are lifestyle things that will bring better health to our bodies than just taking a pill. Pill is okay if it's an emergency, but to prevent that emergency in the first place, we got to have a good lifestyle. And what we're teaching here is through singing, through music, through yoga, through meditation, we have a better chance of preventing all those diseases in the first place. So let's do a little bit of chanting. Okay, Om. So we do Om. If you want to do Om, you can do Om. If you want to do Amin, which is what they do in the Middle East, it's the same sound. You want to do Amen, that's the same sound. Let's do Om. You know, in the Himalayas, these sadhus, they go there and they don't eat a lot of food. They don't take any medicines. They just minimum food, but they do Aum. So let's do that sound first, okay? So if you take a deep breath and do Om or Aum 3 or 4 times, let's do that. Deep breath. Om. If you want to unmute yourself so we can hear each other, at least for the next 5-10 minutes.
Amen. Amen.
This is God that created the world. Oh, you can feel the vibration going through your body.
Amen.
Okay, now we'll sing. Let's sing the song. All of us will sing a song, okay? This to this tune. It was a popular song, but we can sing it. And it's nothing very spiritual or religious about it. It's just an upbeat song with the sound of like Om. You can say Om, you can say Amin, or you can say Amen. So it goes like this. You heard it before. Let's do it one more time. It's just the upbeat thing, okay? Nothing religious about this. Amen.
Amen.
Everybody. Amen.
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 Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen.
One more time.
Amen.
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 Very good. So if you're alone by yourself at home, all your family members are busy doing their own thing, just sing the song to yourself. You'll feel nice vibrations going through your
Yes.
body, relief. Sing to yourself. You're the one who can heal yourself better than anybody else. So just sing and be happy. So
Yes.
let's do some laughter. A little bit of laughter is also good. It's good for the throat. It's good for the vagus nerve. It's good for we have the pituitary gland and the pineal gland. All those things get excited when we laugh. Helps the breathing to opens the nasal passage. So all of us just do laughter for 1 or 2 minutes, okay?
Yeah.
With the sound. Okay, the sound should not just come from the throat, it should come from the stomach. Your stomach should actually move because that gives you exercise. One more time. So if you're by yourself and someone is laughing, somebody says, "Why are you laughing? Something wrong with you?" You say, "No, I thought of a happy thought when I was young." And they will join you too. So don't feel bad to laugh. It's very good. From the stomach. It should come from the stomach, not just the sound of the throat. Stomach. It helps your digestion. So now let us do a little sound bath, okay, for another 15 minutes. So if you want to come into a more relaxing position, this will be a long sound bath. And I might give you 1 or 2 instructions, but be by yourself. Meditation is a very good thing. It's a kind of meditation. It's peaceful. So let's sit down in a relaxing position. Take a deep breath. And once again, I want to show you all the bowls. I've got 5 bowls here, 1 crystal bowl, and I've got several other instruments. So there's no words there. It's just sound. The sound that created the universe. Feel that sound coming into your body. Okay? Everyone take a deep, slow inhalation, deep, slow exhalation. Close your eyes if that feels comfortable and think of some happy thoughts. Forgive everybody, love everyone. are generated in the body itself. All our organs have different waves, different sounds. We cannot hear some of them. And the brain goes through alpha, beta, theta. As you go into deep sleep, it is a theta state. And these sound waves can bring your brain into the theta state where you're calm. When we are normally working, we are in the beta, we are very tense. As we relax, and these sound waves help the brain to relax. As the brain goes into this slow brainwave state, that's when healing happens, and the brain sends that healing message to the body. Feel your brain going into deep, slow sleep and relaxation. If there is some disease in some part of the body, the liver, the brain, the lungs, it means it's not vibrating at the proper frequency. And these sound waves will envelop that organ and bring it to the right frequency. Continue focusing on your breath, deep, slow relaxation to that problem. what we talked about is Western medicine. It's does not heal, it just cures some small problem. But if we really want to keep ourselves healthy, we should change our lifestyle. We should be more peaceful, more loving, don't overexert ourselves, bring music, bring joy into our life. Even if you have to do artificial laughter, it's very good. Do deep breathing, just help somebody, say a nice word to somebody. These things are lifestyle. They have deep, deep relaxation. So with that, we'll bring this session to a close. If somebody wants to talk about any experience they had or any thoughts they want to share.